Welcome everyone. This is Nancy Hlasek again. I'm here to practice a little bit of yoga with you today. Welcome. Good to meet remotely and safely like this from the senior center, from our exercise room here. A good way to keep in touch until we can finally be back here practicing again together. So again, good to have you with me. Living in these challenging times and having to live with uncertainty can cause a great deal of stress. Yet we know that many of the yoga techniques can really help to calm us down. When we're under a lot of stress, the muscles tend to constrict, and that isn't good for us for long periods of time to have that going on. So we want to find different ways to really calm the body down, change from the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight, flight, or freeze, to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. And again, we'll just go through a few simple things that we can do to help us release and relax and calm ourselves. One that we've done many times before, and I'll briefly do it again here today, is hand over heart. The left side of the body represents feminine energy, so we take the left hand and place it at the heart center. The right side of the body represents masculine energy, and that goes on top, gently holding it in. And we know that this causes a little bit of compression on the vagus nerve. That's the nerve that we want to really calm down here. So just a gentle press, and it feels much like when you're holding an infant or a young child to your chest. Just a few nice deep breaths there. And then we know that coordinated breath and movement, just our sun breaths, just these gentle movements can help us calm down as well. And then there are different sounds that we make, humming sounds. We can softly sing, perhaps a lullaby or a hymn or some other song that's slow and low and can help calm us down. There's different sounds that we can make in yoga. We can make the om sound, or we can make a buzzing bee sound. And the buzzing bee breath is one I'll just briefly go over here today. We'll talk about other methods at another time. But for the buzzing bee breath, the mouth stays closed. You take the tip of the tongue and place it on the roof of the mouth behind your front teeth. And then you take a nasal inhalation and then exhale, making that buzzing bee sound. So I'll demonstrate that. And go as long as you can. You can do many, many rounds of that. And that's just a nice vibration. Same thing with other kinds of humming or singing. You're getting some vibration through the upper body, especially, that even resonates up into the head, into the sinuses, into the head. So good, simple things that we can do. So we'll go down to the mat and go into the opening Shavasana. You can make your way down. I'm facing the short side of the mat here. My legs are bent, and I'm just going to do a yoga roll down to bring myself slowly down to the mat. And then release completely. Find yourself nicely aligned on either side of the midline of the body. You can just kind of settle into the mat. Arms out to the side. If you feel like you'd like to receive a little extra energy today, the palms can be up. If you're feeling a little anxious and feel like you need to be grounded, then turn your palms down. The legs are slightly separated and the feet just splay out to the side here. You can roll the head back and forth a little bit just to allow it to find a good place to rest. You'd like the chin and the forehead to be pretty much parallel to each other, so you know that you can pad the back of the head, the neck, if you need. If you have any low back issues, you can have the legs bent. You can also pad the low back area. Just do whatever you need to do to feel comfortable here today. This is a period of time when we want to just center ourselves and let go of the outside world. So find a comfortable position and just close the eyes and do some nice deep breathing. Okay to place the hands on the belly and just breathe into those hands. That deep breathing can help quiet that vagus nerve as well. The vagus nerve, also considered the soul nerve. So we're going to stay in this quiet place, letting go of the outside world for the next hour or so. We're just going to be focused on what we're doing and what we're feeling. So we'll stay in this quiet place for just a moment or two. Stay much longer at home. Try to sit in periods of stillness every day for a few minutes. And then we're going to bring our awareness back to the room, and we'll walk the feet in towards the buttocks. And you can just keep the arms casually out to the side for now. We're going to do some pelvic tilts here. So with the pelvic tilts, we want to keep the hips on the floor. We're just kind of rotating back and forth or tipping back and forth here. Right now, the back has its normal curvature. We're going to gently press the low back into the mat and just tilt the pelvic area up and forward just a bit and tighten through the pelvic floor. And then you can release back down and allow the back to take its normal curvature. Again, we'll press the sacrum into the floor, low back into the floor, and tilt the pelvic area forward and up and tighten. And then just release back down. And one more. Pressing the low back into the mat, tilting forward and up and tightening. And release. Very good. And then we'll draw the bent legs into the torso. You can hold the shins or the backs of the thighs with any knee issues. We're going to draw those legs all the way in toward the chest. And then you can release slightly and just roll out the low back area. Anytime you feel the back starting to tighten up on you, you can get down to the floor and just do a few of these exercises. And then I'm going to turn off to the side here and come back to the mat, and we'll demonstrate some exercises that we can do. All these can be done early in the morning before you even get out of bed if you choose. So we're going to just extend those legs up and do some bicycle movements. And then bring the feet back to center, and you can point and flex, working the ankles nicely here, and then do some circular patterns as well. And you can go in both directions. Come back to center, turn the instep of the feet towards you, and then up towards the ceiling, and go back and forth. And then extend your fingertips up towards the toe tips and scissors the arms and the legs. And here you can open and close the hands and start to warm them up as well. And then come back to center. The hands can come back to the mat. You're going to point your toes and go out into a broad V, a wide V. And then you're going to flex the feet and pull your heels together. Lead with the heels. Again, pointing, we go out, flexing, we come in, working the adductor muscles, the inside of the thighs when we draw those heels together. So let's do one more. And then we'll bring the feet back to center. We'll have the feet flexed, and we move into the dead bug pose. So nice, long, strong legs. We extend the arms up towards the feet. We want to keep our shoulders on the floor, and for dead bug, the palms face each other. Again, a nice place to contract through the pelvic floor and tighten those muscles whenever we get a chance. And again, most of these postures can be held for, say, 3 to 5 long, deep breaths. We don't always hold that long here. And then we're just going to take the hands and bring them to the backs of the thighs, bend the knees, and then take those legs out into what we call the happy baby pose. The hands can stay on the backs of the thighs, just gently pulling those legs in. Or if you have the reach, you can reach up for your ankles or perhaps the soles of the feet. So this is a good stretch for the back, the hips, the groin area. And from Happy Baby, we move into a cobbler variation. You can hold the tops of the feet together, let the knees go out to the side, or you can cradle the ankles in your hands and let those legs go out to the side. And just allow your elbows to gently press into the thighs, opening the hips up a bit more. And then we're going to release and just bring the feet back to the mat. We'll move into wind relieving posture here. Again, trying to get compression on the right side of the body. The ascending colon comes up the right side. Then we have the transverse right underneath the ribs, and the descending colon on the left side of the body, a little bit more towards the outside. So we're going to take that right leg up and in. Again, hold the back of the thigh or the shin and bring it in as close as you can to try and get some compression there. Left leg can be bent with the sole of the foot pressed into the mat, or you can extend that fully out and then have the foot flexed and pressed down through the heel and the back of that leg. And then we'll gently turn that leg a little bit more towards the outside. And then we'll come back to center. We'll release that leg or foot to the floor and take the left leg up and in. And then turn that leg a little bit more towards the outside. And then we'll bring that leg back to center. And then we're going to go into our leg extensions. So I hope you have a strap close by. I'm going to strap my right foot and bring it overhead. You can take a fairly broad grasp with the strap if you choose. Always remember, you can have a little bit of a bend in the knee if the hamstring muscles are really tight. Over time, you'd like to really lengthen that leg, though, so they get a good stretch. Whenever the knee is bent, you're going to really kind of contract those muscles. So the objective over time is to get that leg straight. Okay, elbows out to the side, heart center open. On exhalations, you can bring that foot forward a bit. See how that feels. If that feels okay, you can come a little more forward on the next exhalation. Remember, it's okay to feel a little bit of discomfort, but you never want to feel pain. So don't force anything. Don't go too deeply into something. We're going to transfer our strap now over into the right hand. We can take the left hand off to the side, shoulder height with the palm up. We're going to keep the right foot flexed, and we're going to slowly release it off to the right side. You don't have to bring it all the way to the floor here. A lot of people like to rest on the upper arm or the elbow. If you go closer to the floor, you can have a pillow, a cushion, a block over there to rest the foot on. We do want to keep the left shoulder down. If that pops up, it means you need to back out of the posture a little bit. So left shoulder down. You will notice that the left hip will come off the mat a bit. And then we're carefully going to come back to center. At center, you can take the strap in both hands again and come forward, and then transfer the strap over into the left hand. Now we're going to try and get a nice stretch to the outside of that right leg. So we'll roll onto the left hip and bring the right leg across. The deep psoas muscle gets a nice stretch. The IT band gets a nice stretch. Here you can take a fist and just go up and down the outside of that leg. Can feel pretty good. And then we'll come back to center. We'll take the strap in both hands again and see if that foot will come forward just a bit more than it did when we first started. And then we're going to carefully release, realign ourselves, and then strap the left foot. Same thing on this side. Balancing the body. We don't want to be lopsided here. We're going to take that left foot now toward the head or over the head. Feel the stretch. Deepen on your exhalations. We'll transfer the strap now over into the left hand. Right arm goes out at shoulder height, palm up. Left foot flexed. Let's release it off to the left side. We'll bring that left leg back to center. At center, take the strap in both hands, come forward, transfer the strap now to the right hand. Left arm going out now. Rolling onto the right hip, bringing the left leg across. Going as far as you safely can. Again, stretching out the psoas muscle, IT band. Lots of good things going on here. And then we'll carefully come back to center. At center, you can take the strap in both hands and draw the foot forward again. And then you can carefully release. And realign. Legs are bent right now. We're going to do just a few windshield washer movements, which are really good for the hip area as well. So feet are about hip width apart, and you're just going to drop both knees off to the left, and you can hold here for just a bit. And then come back to center and drop both knees off to the right and hold for a little bit. And then come back, and then you can just rock back and forth a few times. Simple ways to move the body to keep it nice and flexible. And then we'll come back to center. You can use arm strength, turning to one side or the other, and bring yourself up, and we'll go right on over into a tabletop position. So tabletop, we have the hands nicely spread out between or underneath our shoulders, and the knees underneath the hips. And here we'll do a nice diagonal balance. We'll start with the right foot and right leg going out behind us. Just keep that leg about parallel to the floor. And then we can take the left arm and left hand and reach forward and reach back. And then we can do something called spider. Take the left arm and hand out to the side a little bit more and the right leg out to the side a little bit more. So working on balance here. And then come back and release. Now the left leg and foot are extended out behind us, and the right arm and hand come up. The gaze is just down at the mat. Reach forward and back. And now for spider, you can take that right arm out, left leg out. A little bit harder to balance. And then come back and release. And then we're going to curl the toes under and press on up into down dog. Feet are about hip width apart here. Palms pressed firmly into the mat. And then turn the inside of the elbows forward just a bit. And here you want the head to be in alignment with the spine. So instead of letting it just hang down,
Try to have it in line with the spine, nice long spine. And then you can walk the dog a little bit by lifting alternate heels. And then just walk your feet in towards your wrists, take your hands to your shins, and carefully bring yourself up and come right into a nice sun breath here. And then we'll stand tall in mountain, and we'll work the upper body. The lower body has been nicely stretched, nicely worked out. So now we're going to concentrate on the shoulders and the upper body here. So we'll do the shoulder shrugs while we're standing here, arms extended downward. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears, squeeze your shoulder blades back behind you, and come down and around. Again, up, back, down and around. A good movement to counter that rounding of the upper back and shoulders that we sometimes get when we age. So remember that backward movement. Now we're back at center. We're going to come up and forward, down and around. This is going to stretch out the upper back. One more in this direction. And then we'll go in reverse again. Up, back, down and around. And then we'll do our sun breaths. We're going to extend the arms out to the side. We inhale up, taking the gaze up if we'd like. On the exhalation, turn the palms outward and come back down. And some of you may have shoulder issues, so only do as much of this as you feel safe and comfortable doing. You don't want to cause any pain here. Let's add wrist rotations. Inhaling up, let's wiggle the fingers and the thumbs. Sweeping those arms overhead. Now bring the palms together in prayer position. Press them firmly together and then bring them back in front of the heart center. And then we're going to inhale up and exhale out and around. This can be a little more rounded movement if you'd like. Inhaling up, exhaling out and around. Let's do a few more. Try to feel the energy moving through you. Energy moving up the spine. And one more here. And then we'll just release. Let's float the arms out, bring the palms to the tops of the shoulders, and do some circular patterns coming forward, and then go in reverse. Elbows out to the side, come in and out a few times. Elbows out to the side, just go down and up a few times as well. And then we'll release. Let's work the neck a little bit. We want to keep the shoulders down and the neck long. There's actually a condition now called text neck. It's been out there for a few years now, and it's come about because of us using all our cell phones, computers, whatever. So we tend to keep the head down, finding that a lot of younger people are now developing this situation. Looking at your cell phones, your computers, whatever. And you can also round into that kyphosis-like state as well. So shoulders back and down, and then we want to work the neck to keep it nice and strong as well. So we're going to tuck the chin toward the chest. You will keep a little bit of space between your chin and the chest. And then you're just going to rotate the chin over toward the left shoulder. Keep your chin tucked, feel that stretch. Again, breathe into it. And then bring the chin back to center. Keep it tucked. Rotate it now toward your right shoulder. And then come back to center. At center, you're going to scoop the chin now forward and up. Taking the gaze up a bit. On the exhalation, bring the chin back down. Again, inhaling, scoop forward and up. Exhale back down. And one more, scooping forward and up. Exhale back down. And then draw the chin up so it's parallel to the floor. We'll look side to side. We'll go to the right side first. Inhale, take your gaze off to the right. Hold here, keep breathing. Over time, try to look beyond your back shoulder, but you don't want to force anything. Don't want to feel pain. So remember, yoga is a journey. Take your time. Eventually, you'll be able to go a little deeper into the movements. If you'd like here too, you can nod up and down like you're agreeing with someone. Bring the chin parallel and come back to center. Now you're going to inhale and look off to your left. Hold over here, keep breathing. Here too, you can nod up and down. And then come back to center. Let's take the ears towards the shoulders next. Again, keep the shoulders down, keep your neck long. Inhale up and over, your right ear goes toward the right shoulder. Hold here, keep breathing, feel that good stretch on the left side of the neck, all the way from the ear into that shoulder joint. If you'd like, you can add the weight of the right hand placed just above your left ear. You don't want to torque on the head, just add a little extra weight if you choose. So many simple movements we can do to really benefit our health and well-being. We're going to bring the head back to center. Inhale up and over now, left ear moving toward the left shoulder. Hold over here, keep breathing. And then lift and come back to center. Now we'll take the fingers and place them at the base of the head. We press the fingers into the head and the head back into the fingers to strengthen the neck isometrically. And then we can release and bring the heels of the hands now to the eyebrows. Press in and press back. And then you're going to release the left hand and take the heel of the right hand just above your right ear. Press in and back. And then you can release and take the heels of the hand, the heel of the left hand above the left ear. Press in and back. And then we'll release. And then we'll work the hands and the arms just a little bit. We're going to interlace and do wrist circles and then figure eights if you choose. So fingers are interlaced and we just work the wrists out. Again, think of what your hands do for you every day, and we really need to keep them flexible, keep them nice and supple. You can go into the larger figure eight movement. And then you can come back to center and recross, bring the other index finger and thumb on top, and then work the wrists out again. Figure eights as well. And then keep your fingers interlaced, but turn the palms downward and tug on the fingers on the hands. Again, we're creating space in the body. You can recross. And then bring the palms together in prayer position, keeping the press of the heels of the hands very firm. We're going to inhale up, bringing the forearms together if you can, and then open towards the sun. Exhaling, the hands come back together and down. Again, inhaling up, open, exhaling down. And one more here. and you can release. Let's float the arms out, bring the arms in front, reach away. Let's work the wrists a bit, bringing the fingertips down towards the floor, then your palms parallel to the floor, and then press out through the heels of the hands. Palms parallel, fingertips down, palms parallel and fingertips up. Palms parallel to the floor. Now work the hands from side to side. Come back to center, cup your hands, spread your fingers, and just do a twisting movement. And then imagine there's a beautiful scarf in front of you that you're going to pick up with your fingertips and your thumb tips. And then you can release and do another shoulder shrug here. Let's move into a series that will nicely work the spine. We'll come into Prana Arch. First of all, we're standing tall in mountain, grounded to the earth but extending upward. We have a strong core, we have strong legs, shoulders are back and down. Arms just float out to the side, we press the hips just slightly forward. Just take the gaze up to where the horizon would be, or slightly above that area. And then hands to the heavens, reaching up. Pressing the hips forward a bit more, doing a little bit more of a back bend, elongating through the spine. And then we're going to come up and go into Crescent Moon. So the fingers are interlaced. We release the index fingers. This is a beautiful side stretch. You can stretch slightly side to side, sway a little bit side to side or tick-tock, and then take the head and the hands off to your left. Try and stay in one plane here. Your upper arms by your ears, kind of framing the face. Press your right hip out. And then come back to center. Again, tick-tock up a bit. This time take the head and the hands off to your left. And then come back to center. We're going to move into a goddess series here. So we'll release the arms and take them into the goddess position, and we'll step the feet out at an angle here. And you're going to want to keep the midline of your knee tracking more towards your second and your third toe here. Nice deep inhalation here. On the exhalation, we squat down. Keep those knees out. Strengthening the legs, you're going to pull up on the pelvic floor, tighten that area. This is standing goddess. We do this seated in the chair class. And then you're going to carefully press up, release the arms, a little bit of lateral stretching here. Windmill the left arm down and the right arm up. Get a good stretch here. And then go off to the other side. Nice fluid movements. Come back. Now take the toes in just a bit. And we're going to do a two-part twist here. We're going to turn to the left, and then we're going to reach down and try to touch those left toes. Just come down as far as you comfortably can. When you come up, you're still facing left. Then turn to center. Now turn to the right, reach down, come back up, and back to center. To your left, reach down, come back up, back to center. To your right, reach down, come back up, and back to center. And then we'll turn the feet out again, float the arms out. We're going back into goddess here. Nice inhalation. And then on your exhalation again, keep those knees tracking towards your second or third toe. Goddess. Crack, crack, crack. I hear my knees cracking. Press up. Step the feet together, arms overhead again, and we go into Crescent Moon. Head and hands going off to the left, right hip bumping out. Come back to center. This time the head and the hands go off to the right. And come back to center and release. So lots of different ways to work the body. Let's go into the chair posture here, sitting on the chair that isn't there. Arms float out and in front. You can lift those hands up slightly. Again, if this causes any stress in the shoulders, you have the option of stacking the forearms in this posture or taking your hands to your shoulders. You also have the option of hands on the thighs. I'm going out in front of me and slightly up. Nice deep inhalation here. On the exhalation, take the buttocks back and then down and sit on the chair that isn't there. When you look down in a perfect world, you'd like to be able to see your toe tips here. And I'll turn to the side so you can see that again. Nice deep inhalation. As you exhale, take the buttocks back and then down and sit on the chair. And then you can release your hands to your thighs and straighten the legs for a half forward fold or monkey. We don't want to round down here. Keep your shoulder blades close together here. Press out through the sit bones. Hanuman or monkey pose. Over time, you may be able to get down and reach those toes or your ankles, but you do want to keep more of a flat back here versus rounded. And you would stay in this monkey pose if you have untreated high blood pressure, if you have glaucoma, detached retina, anything where you want to avoid excess pressure in the eyes. You stay with the torso parallel to the floor. If you're dizzy or congested as well. If you don't have those issues, you can round down. Just let the head hang down. Shift your weight slightly forward onto the balls of the feet and hang out in a forward fold. Again, you could use a block in front of the feet or a block on either side at their highest length, mid-length, low length, whatever you would need here. And this is an extreme stretch for the west side or the back side of the body. Coming out of this, we take the hands to the shins, we straighten out the legs, we take the hands to the thighs, and we lift through the heart center as we bring ourselves up. And this is also another good place for a sun breath. And then we can try a little bit of balance work. And again, you can have a chair close by, you can be close to a pole, or you can be against a wall if you choose. And we'll go into the crane posture. So extending the arms out at about shoulder height, we'll be standing on the left foot first. Make sure it's nicely grounded, and you can contract the muscles of that leg, especially that standing leg, the thigh muscles. The base is just to keep your toes on the floor here and stand in this position. It always helps to find a focal point on the wall across from you or on the floor in front of you. And then if you can, bring that right foot up. And sometimes the crane likes to take flight. That's okay. Just reestablish your base, strong standing leg, and bring the foot up. Okay, beautiful. And then we'll go to the other side. Ground that right foot, wings out, left toes on the floor, and then strong standing legs. See if you can bring that left foot up. Very good. I'm going to do the tree posture against the wall today. I'm feeling a little bit wobbly here, so remember the wall is a good prop too. So let's stand nice and tall here, back against the wall. Take the hands to the heart center. We'll stand on the left leg first and turn the right toes out to the side.
And then you can bring that foot up the leg. You can bring it to your calf or to your inner thigh. Just avoid the knee area. And then you're going to try and balance on that leg. And then if you choose, you can grow your tree upward and branch it out. And come back to center. And release. Standing on the right foot now, strong standing leg, hands at the heart center, turn the left leg out. And again, this is the base for the pose, so you can stay here. Or move that foot up the leg a bit. And again, you can grow your tree upward. And branch it out. And release. So it's important to try and do a little bit of balance every day. A really simple balance is just to rock back and forth on the feet. And then splay the feet out to the side and rock back and forth. Coming up on your toes and just walking around on your toes a little bit. If you have toddlers in your life, you know that they like to do that. So just work on balance a bit every day. Again, today we'll be moving into the triangle postures, good lateral stretches, side stretches, and we'll start with the base triangle. So we take the feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. It doesn't have to be a really broad stance here. Grounded feet, just a slight tuck to the tailbone. We do want to keep the curve in the low back. So just think of the tailbone rooting a little bit down towards the floor. And then we take the arms into our 5-point star. We'll turn the left palm up. We're going to windmill that arm and hand overhead, right arm and hand down alongside the body. We did this movement in the Goddess series as well. Again, your gaze can stay in front of you. If you'd like, you can look up at your left palm. Reach up with those fingertips a bit more if you can. You can even roll to the outside edge of your left foot and extend the stretch a little bit more on the left side of the body. Beautiful stretch. Windmill back, left palm down, right palm up. Inhale and sweep the right arm and hand overhead. Left arm and hand now down along the left side of the body. Gazing forward or up. Breathing. And come back. When we stretch the side body like that, we're stretching out the intercostal muscles between the ribs, and keeping those nice and flexible helps with our breathing, helps the heart and the lungs both function better. So consider doing those side stretches whenever you have a chance. Now we'll go into the full triangle pose, Trikonasana, three-angle pose. We're going to take a little bit broader stance. Just make sure that you feel safe and balanced in your base. Again, float the arms out. You're going to turn the left foot in just a bit. That'll be the back foot today. Turning those toes in slightly, and the right foot turning away completely. And then the gaze is out over your right fingertips. On your inhalation, you reach. You want to elongate that under that arm and the side of the body. So reach first, and then see on your exhalation if you can tip towards that forward leg. And it's not necessary to get all the way down to your ankle or to the foot. It's more important that you keep that upper shoulder back a bit and in line with the lower shoulder as much as possible. Keep breathing. You don't want to round forward here or back. Again, the gaze can be at your foot. You can look straight ahead of you, or you can look up at the upper hand there. And then press into the feet. Feel the strength of your legs as you bring yourself back up. And then you're going to turn the feet parallel and just feel the effects of that posture. And breathe. Arms float out. Now the right foot is the back foot. You're going to pivot on that heel, bringing the toes in slightly. Left foot tracks the way completely. The gaze is now over your left fingertips. You're going to inhale and reach, Exhale and tip. And here in the triangle pose, tri meaning 3 kona angle, asana is the posture. You've got a triangle between the legs, between the forward arm and the leg, and then if you drew a line from your upper hand to your hip, that's the 3rd triangle in this posture. Then we're going to turn our gaze towards our left foot, press into our feet, bring ourselves up, turn the feet parallel, and then carefully step together and take a sun breath. And then the next posture we do is considered a side angle bend. I call it forward triangle bend. It just seems more appropriate to me. This can be done to a chair seat. You would have the chair right in front of you, and when you come forward, you can just keep your hands on the corners of the chair seat, or you could stack forearms and rest your head on the chair seat if you choose. Parsvottanasana. So what we're going to do is either take the hands to the hips to begin with. We're going to step the left foot back and turn the left toes out at an angle. Doesn't have to be a huge stance here. You're going to square your hips and your shoulders forward. And now you can keep the hands at the hips. You can hold on to your forearms or your elbows behind the back, or you can do a reverse namaste if you have the flexibility in your wrists. So that's bringing your palms together, crossing your thumbs, fingers facing upward here. Now we're going to forward bend. Broaden your stance a little bit by moving that forward foot out a bit if you're feeling wobbly. On your inhalation, do a slight back bend. On the exhalation, come upright, start bending at your right hip crease, and come forward and down. Now here it's perfectly fine to bend that forward leg and then extend it later if you need. If it hurts, keep a little bit of a bend in it. And bring the torso parallel to the floor. Again, if you have any of those issues with your eyes or the other issues I mentioned previously, you're going to stay with your torso parallel to the floor. Otherwise, you can round down towards that forward leg. Okay, here to release your hands to the floor on either side of that foot if you'd like, and bring the head a little closer to your knee. And then press into your feet and bring yourself back up. And we'll step the feet together. And then we'll work the other side. Now we'll step the right foot back, and those toes will be out to the side just a bit. Square yourself forward. Slight back bend. Coming upright. Now we're going to bend at the left hip crease and come forward and down. Press back through your sit bones here as well. Again, if you choose, you can release your hands down to the mat on either side of that forward foot and then just release the head down. And then you can press on up, step the feet together and take a sun breath here. And then let's just transition down to seated, and we'll do a little more twisting, and then a forward bend called Zhanusirsana. So we'll come into Dandasana, which is our staff pose with the legs nice and long and the feet flexed. We can tuck our thumbs underneath the bottom for just a moment and release the shoulders back and down. Just feel the length in your legs, lift up through the sternum, the spine is nice and long. And then we twist while we're here. Arms float out. Inhale, elongate the spine. On the exhalation, twist to your right. Left hand taking the outside of your right leg and your right arm going out behind you. And then take the gaze back. Again, this helps us to be flexible enough to back out of parking spaces, out of our garage, to look behind us when necessary. And then come back to center and back into Dandasana. Floating the arms out. Again, inhale and elongate. Exhale and rotate to the left now. Right hand taking the outside of the left leg, left arm going out behind you. And then we'll come back to center. So the next pose is Zhanusirsana. Zhanu means knee, Sirsana means head. So we're going to try and get the head a little bit closer to that knee. And in these seated forward bends, they're a little bit harder to rotate the pelvic area forward and keep a flat back. So it's always fine to bring a cushion to class or sit on a blanket or a folded up towel if you need to. I'm just thinking about walking my sit bones back a little bit here. And then for this posture, I'm going to bend the right leg and take the sole of the right foot in to the inside of the left thigh. Now, if you have issues with that right knee, again, you can keep the foot farther down the leg. We're going to be forward bending over this leg. You can always use a strap if you choose. The strap is just a guide. You don't want to pull yourself down. You want the movement to come from the hips. So we're squared forward. We're going to inhale up and elongate. And then on the exhalation, come forward and down, reaching down towards that foot. Now perhaps you'll come this far. Perhaps you can go to your ankle. Perhaps you can go to your toes. Again, it doesn't matter. Just do what is right for you today and don't strain yourself. And then we're going to release and just take the hands to the sides of the legs and walk back up. And we'll extend that right leg out. You can bend and extend it a few times. And then we do the same thing on this side. The inside of the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Arms out, inhaling overhead. On the exhalation, coming forward and down. And then again, you can walk your hands back and release. We're coming to the close of class, so I'm going to face the short side of the mat again and bring myself down. And then draw those legs in and roll out the low back. And then we'll go into our final twist of the day. Legs are hugged tightly together. On an exhalation, you can release those legs off to the left side, stacking them on top of each other. Your gaze can remain above you, or you can look out over your right fingertips. Keep breathing, feel that good twist. Bringing up the bent right leg, then the left leg, releasing the feet back to the mat and realigning, and then drawing those legs back in, hugging them tightly together. This time on an exhalation, release those legs off to the right. And now the gaze can stay above you, or you can look out over your left fingertips. Keep breathing. And then bring up the left bent leg, right leg comes up to meet it. Release the feet back to the mat. Realign yourself. You can do a few windshield washers here if you'd like. And then settle into the final relaxation. Always okay to cover up with a towel or a blanket. The eyes softly close. We take a few nice deep breaths and just allow the physical body to completely release and relax and let go. Always remember to send yourself an honoring message for the practice that you've just completed. Today, as you're settling into Shavasana, I'd like to read one of my favorite poems by Wendell Berry. I know many of you love this one as well, and it seems appropriate for the times. Again, The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Now we'll stay in this quiet, very peaceful place for just a few more moments, breathing in and breathing out. You can stay in this period of Shavasana a little bit longer if you'd like. If you're resting at home, just stay in this position. For the end of the class, though, I'd like to bring my hands together at my heart center, connect my thumbs with my heart center, and bow my head. May all beings be safe. May all beings be healthy. May all beings live with ease. And then our soul-to-soul greeting and parting, Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me again today, and I hope to see you soon. Stay safe, be well.